Hello and welcome to Dig Down Deep. This is the second episode of this podcast, and I'd like to thank all of you for your reviews and suggestions on the first episode. I'm going to implement as many of them as I can today. So, this week we are going to throw some light on the topic of free will and determinism. My name is Piyush Rana. I'm an aspiring filmmaker, a writer, and currently a podcaster. And you are listening to Dig Down Deep, a podcast where I'll talk about life, arts, entertainment, creativity, and everything that might provoke a thought in your head, and hopefully lead you towards a happy and fulfilling life. Okay, I'm going to begin with saying that it would not matter if you know a lot about this topic or if you had absolutely no clue about it before today. You'll know the reason for this as this thing unfolds. So, what is free will? I think it's pretty self explanatory. Free will is the ability to choose your actions freely. It is the ability of doing what you want to do, what your will wants you to do. For example, you're listening to this podcast. I'm making this podcast. You are here because of your own decisions and choices. And so am I, right? Everything you will do after this is going to be your choice. You will decide what you want to do and act on it. Or not act on it if you want. We as humans have this advantage over other species as we enjoy the power of having a free will, a freedom to exercise whatever we want. We with our wills have built monuments. Our will has the ability to change the direction of rivers, carve mountains, and whatnot. So basically, humans can do anything, and each one of us is free to do whatever he feels like. He has the power to choose, and this sounds so natural, right? It feels so true. Whatever we are today is because of our choices that we personally made. But there is another side of the coin, which is called determinism. Now, determinism is a viewpoint which suggests that all the events that take place are determined by causes that have existed previously. This definition of determinism challenges the existence of free will. The most recent work to support this argument was an experiment conducted in the year 1980 by a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet. What happened in this experiment is that he took some subjects and wired them up to an EEG machine, which measures the activity of human brain. And then he asked them to make a hand movement whenever they felt like. And they were made to record the time at which they decided to move the hand. What Libet's experiment showed was that the conscious decision of moving the hand, which felt like an immediate decision to the subjects, was actually a result of brain activity several seconds before the decision of moving the hand. Now, what it means is that there are subconscious, unconscious pre-decisions which leads the subjects towards making a decision. A lot of factors and things are involved which trigger the response, that is the movement of the hand. So, a subject was led into deciding when to move his hand, and his decision was not an immediate decision or a free decision, as preached by the concept of free will. What determinism stands for is that free will does not exist, and everything that a person is doing is not a decision of his conscious mind. Some subconscious or unconscious forces lead us to our actions. This simply means that our actions are not under our will, so free will is nothing but an illusion. The next obvious line of questioning that comes up with all this information is that if I'm not in control of the actions, if everything is predetermined and what I do personally is already registered somewhere in my subconscious, then why on earth am I held responsible for my actions? How is it my fault that I put salt instead of sugar in the tea I made yesterday? Everything is predetermined, right? Why do I get the stick for doing anything then? Also, why should I do anything at all? If it's predetermined, it will just happen. Now, that line of thinking can be a little dangerous because it puts the morality of a person under question. Thankfully, Libet was able to prove with his later experiments that a person might not have a free will because his decisions are not conscious, but he does have a free want or veto, which suggests that the ability to say no to something is under the control of his consciousness. For example, if you are dieting and a friend of yours brings in some junk food to eat, now your unconscious response probably would be towards the favor of eating the junk food. You can take a break today, one burger won't do any harm, and whatnot. But your conscious mind will put a big no because you know that you want to diet. This response of choosing not to do something which comes consciously is called veto. So, this suggests that not all actions are necessarily triggered by the subconscious mind, and you do have some powers within the conscious mind. So, what is the conclusion of all this? Is free will true or is determinism true? But to be honest, the reason both of them are talked about together is because they are interlinked with each other. This concept is called compatibilism, which is the belief that free will and determinism are both compatible with each other. Now, obviously, this is one viewpoint, and incompatibility of both of them is another concept. But I personally like the idea that free will and determinism are interlinked, and it is possible to believe in both of them and still think logically. When we see it from the viewpoint of compatibilism, it suggests that there is a chain of causes that leads towards a decision. But between this push and the act which you do, there can be a point which gives you the power to comprehend your decisions before making them. So, it apparently gives you a way to actually practice free will. But that needs to be worked upon. Currently, your mind is limited, and will is nothing but the combination of mind and consciousness. With the limited mind, the will is always going to be limited. Your will can be free. You can make your own choices, given that you have a clear mind. You just have to make your consciousness be on the same page with your subconsciousness. You are compelled to do certain things, and you can't help it. The reason behind that is what you feed your thoughts. The amount of attention a person gives to his external self is so vast. He'll make a chart of his diet, eat all kind of stuff to keep his body healthy, clean himself, spend hours standing in front of the mirror, do makeup and whatnot. But when it comes to the mind, the attention we pay is almost negligible. We know everything about the outer world, but when it comes to the inner world, we barely know how our own mind works. As humans, we take in and construct our thoughts through our senses. What we see, what we speak, what we hear adds up and make our thought process. Now, go back and introspect a regular day in your life. If it starts with you waking up and opening your phones and various applications which will give you unnecessary information about war, violence, politics, negativity, all this stuff you will never use in your life. And then you get out of bed and discuss about that stuff with the first person you see in the kitchen. And you continue doing that at your workplace. Even when you come back, you take more of that useless information while having dinner with your family and discussing all of that over and over and over again. If you live like that and you say that you are the master of your thoughts, I don't know what to say to you. I just feel sorry for you. If you're hungry, you would not just eat anything, right? You'll check the effect it has on your body. Well, then why not do the same with your mind? Why consume anything? Why not lead your thoughts towards somewhere harmonious? Why not indulge into activities that make your mind clear, make you more aware about things that matter, not the nonsense that you are constantly consuming every day? Awareness is directly proportional to the freedom of your mind, and that is how you become the master of your will. On that note, I would like to end this podcast. Thank you everyone for listening to me, and I'm very open to suggestions and your ideas and thoughts on the podcast. You can send in your suggestions on Instagram. My handle is PiyushRana09. And if you would like to read a transcript of this podcast, and check out some additional thought-provoking content, you can check it out on my blog or website. Address is runningafternirvana.blogspot.com. Thank you, and looking forward to see you in the next episode.